Alright, so I briefly want to just go through the freezing point and melting point lab report and kind of how you can fill out the graphs if you want to do it that way. So what we've got here is the reports, and the first thing you're going to do is watch the video and record data. You can see here for the melting or the freezing point, when you're watching the system freeze, you're going to start recording the temperature at 65 degrees Celsius, and then every 30 seconds you're going to record the temperature again. And then also you're going to record some observations, and that's just going to be probably the amount of crystallization that's occurred so far. Okay, and so there's two trials of this. So you can see there's two data tables. Additionally, the data table goes from 0 minutes to 15 minutes. So I think the videos go a little bit longer than 15 minutes, but you only need to collect 15 minutes of data. Okay, starting when the sample hits 65 degrees. All right, so then there's part B, which are the melting points of the biphenyl and unknown. I think we did unknown number 3, so you need to put that there. But this just is for putting the starting time, the time at which you first start to see melting. And the ending time, the point at which all of the solid is now liquid. Again, there's two trials for both those. The next page then is a kind of a graph sheet, and actually the next 2 pages. So what you need to do is take your data from your table of the freezing point table, and we're going to put it into a graph. And you're going to do that for both trial 1 and trial 2. So you can see the graph isn't labeled at all. So what we're going to do is along the y-axis, the vertical axis will be the temperature, and along the x-axis or the horizontal axis, that will be the time. All right, so the time is 0 to 15 minutes, and each line here is 30 seconds. So your first point would be on this first line at zero time, and then it would be 30 seconds, 1 minute, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and so on. And for temperature, the lower line is meant to be 40 degrees Celsius. The upper line is meant to be 65, and then each line is 1 degree. Okay, so before we go in and graph our data, we should label the axes. So in Office 365 or Microsoft 365, they've incorporated a new draw tool. And if you look at along the top here, we've got home, insert, draw, design, layout, and all that. If you click draw, it's going to bring up probably not this many pens, but a few pens. And you can add a new pen right here. So if I click on it, add pen, it will put a new pen there. And then if you click on the little down caret, you can select the size of the pen. You can select the color you want or the effects. If you want your pen to be rainbow as you write, you can do that. Okay, if you want different color, you just click on more color. So I'm going to click on, I don't know, orange. And I tend to use this second size for writing. The small size works, but it's pretty small. That middle size is huge. Anything bigger is way too big. Okay, so we'll probably put dots on the graph with that middle size, but to write, I'm going to use this one. All right, and I'm going to click on my blue pen to do it. Notice there's also an eraser here. If you click on that and just use it as an eraser, it'll get rid of whatever you've written. All right, so I've got my blue pen. You can see now that my cursor is a dot. It's kind of on the left part of the screen right now. It's a blue dot. So I'm going to drag that blue dot down here, and you can see that if you don't press your mouse, it doesn't write. It'll move to where you want to, but it won't write. As soon as you press your mouse, it starts writing. Okay, so for example, I want to label time across here. It's going to start with 0, and I might label every 2 minutes. So the first, I'm going to press and hold the mouse, and then if I just trace with my finger the shape I want, there's 0. Okay, so 0, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 132, minutes. So if I put that, let's do every 3. So that's 2, 2.5, 3. So right there's 3 minutes. I'm going to write 3:0, 0, and I might mark that like right here. Boom, that's the 3 minute. And then I'd go over 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6. So right here it's going to be 6 minutes. So I'm going to write 6:0. Oop, that one's ugly, so I'm going to hit Control Z twice, and then it goes away. So I'm going to draw a better 0, kind of better. Another 0, that's 6 minutes, and then 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9. So right there's the 9-minute mark. And so on. And I would do that all the way over until I got to 15 minutes at the end. And I did every 3, that's fine. And down on the bottom, I'm going to label this as time. So I put time. Let's see how good I can do it now. Not awful. And I need to put, oh, that's time in minutes. And I'll use the abbreviation for minute, MIN. Okay, so not beautiful, but not awful. And then on the vertical axis is going to be temperature. So I'm just going to write temp, maybe. And this is degrees Celsius. Okay, so I've labeled the axis. Now I'm going to just start with the lower line is 40.0. So I'm going to write 40.0. And since our readings on our thermometer are to that 1 decimal place, I'm going to write it like that. So then I'll do this every 5 degrees. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So right there is 45. And then 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So that'd be 50. And 51, 2, 3, 4, 55. So 55 is right there. '56, '57, '58, '59, '60s right here. And then 65 will be this top line. That was a bad 6. Okay, so there we go. So now my chart or my graph is all labeled except for the rest of the times. And now I start doing points. So I'm going to make my point, let's make them orange just for the heck of it. And I want to make sure that that's in the middle, so I'll make that there. Okay, so you can see this point is now a little bit bigger. And now I'm just going to put a point wherever I should have a data point. And you can see the first thing we have is at 0 time, I got 65 degrees. So I'm going to go down and put at 0 time 65 degrees. So there's going to be a point right here. And let's say my second point I took, which I don't have anything on here, but let's pretend that at 30 seconds I had I read a temperature of 61 degrees. So I'll go down here and go my next line here. This is the 30-second line, so 61 would be right here. Bang. And then for the next one, I would do, let's say my next one was at 1 minute, I read 59.9. Excuse me, 59.5. Can't do 0.9. 59.5. So on 1 minute line, 59. So 59 would be kind of here, right? Somewhere in between 59 and 60. Bang. So just like that. And that's what you're going to do for each point. You're going to have, whatever, 31 points. Put them on there, and that's it. Okay? Then you go do the next graph. Same way, except you're going to use your second set of data. Remember, you're going to record your freezing point up here, and that's going to be where it all leveled off, whatever temperature you got that plateau at. And there's a small graph you have to do For the post lab, I've got the axes labeled already. You just got to put numbers on here. You can see the time is 0 to 5 minutes, so I would guess each of these is 30 seconds. So 0, 30, 1 minute, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. Yep. And then temperatures, I think I did it so you could do 75 to 85. So 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 45. Yep. So I did 75 to 85 degrees along the on the temperature axis, and 0 to 5 minutes along the time. Okay, so that's it. And now you know you've got this drawing tool. Maybe you already did. I actually have a drawing pad that I use to do your videos. It's pretty nice. It was, I think, $50 or $55. Really easy to use. Plugs into the USB port. You can get Bluetooth ones, but they're more expensive, and I didn't want to spend that much money. So if you're interested in one of those drawing pads, let me know, and I'll tell you what type it is and where I got it, and things like that. All right, so that should do it for this. If you have any questions, please contact me.